mate.
Right, welcome everyone to a special episode of Push the Point. You've got me, Simon, you've got Hamish, and then we've got 3 special guests. Today we have Hamish's boy, Tom Penny.
Oh, the boy.
We have Rohan Khanna, and we have
King Khanna.
Matt Clark. And these guys are coming to us all the way from the other side of the world. How you doing, gents?
Boy,
Yo, good sir. Good to be here.
Mate.
Long time fan, you know.
Oh, yeah, you know, I always...
Long time listener.
Yeah, you guys are always cheering on how amazing the podcast is. So I thought, well, you know, we've got to get you on. You just keep banging on about it. It's just unfair at this point, right? You know.
My invite keeps on getting lost in the mail.
I was going to say, is this what this is, Hamish? Have you invited them out of pity for them that you just thought, let's just get them on the podcast, get it over and done with?
Well, I saw the Session Blood one and I thought, mate, come on, let's get them on a real one.
We've finally won something, right? So you want to get us on, but you keep coming ninth.
Yeah.
Hamish knows the pain.
Me. Yeah, that's me.
Just as a bit of an extra special episode today, just because we have 5 people here who came top 8 in their respective nationals. And I think that's pretty special. And now, what's also special is that 5 people here had some involvement in testing with each other throughout the Tails meta. So we thought it would be good to get 5 people together that have tested together, and they all came top 8 in their nationals.
Yeah, and all the guys here pretty much copied us, Simon. So, you know, we thought we'd...
Big claims, Hamish. Big claims. So what I want to know, I think Rohan, you got in touch with me about doing some testing overseas. What was the idea behind the testing group? How did you start that off? Like, who was the inspiration, and how did it get going?
What, you were an OG invite?
Maybe.
Yeah, he was recommended to us by an OG, you know.
Oh my god! How did I get put in?
Mate, I don't even know how you got in there.
I got you in there, Hamish. Come on.
No, it was Jordan that got me in there. Jordan said, I heard Hamish is funny. Should we put him in? And everyone's like, I don't know. And I just got added anyway. Man, yeah, how did this start, Rohan?
Yeah, so basically we had our, a few of us, me, Tom, Matt Clark, who I'd talked to and last nationals as well. We had like a bit of a testing group. It was pretty good. It involved Carol and Kieran, who you guys know now both work for LSS. So there came to a point where half our team just got decimated, poached by LSS, and we're like, well, I guess we should start up something else. And we're like, you know, it'd be cool to get some people from overseas, talk about the meta differences, do some testing with them, and then. Yeah, you guys know our good friend Mark, right?
Oh, yeah.
So we chatted to him. He's like, yeah, and he obviously knew you guys as well. So we got a few of the good players here that we thought would fit in quite nicely. And then Kieran as well said, the Simon Denning guy, he's really good. You should bring him on. I was like, oh yeah, that sounds good. And then we got in touch with you, Mark, you as well, Hamish. And,
no, you didn't.
We did, just later down the line.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. Wait, how did you end up in the group? Because I thought we just got in touch with you.
It was Jordan, I think.
It was Jordan.
So
Jordan just said, Hamish is
Jordan.
funny.
Yeah.
I think Jordan and Hamish had some...
Where there was like...
No, never had a conversation with it. All of a sudden, I just had Simon go, I can't even remember when, just go, I think that some of the guys want you to play some games with the New Zealand lot. And I was like, oh, cool. I mean, I know Penny. I mean, I talked to him a lot. But that was it. And then I checked, but then I got added and I checked back and I just saw that Jordan just said, oh, Hamish is funny, eh? Should we add him? And I was like, oh my God, is that it?
Comedy value.
I remember testing in like an old server. Oh, yeah, go ahead, Matt.
Oh, I was just going to say, we had like 6 people at one point, and then Jordan just like went on a rampage, and then we had like 15 out of nowhere, and I don't know what happened, but Jordan just went on an absolute rampage.
So at one point we did have Dante in there, and Eric from Canada, who, like, again, great players, but maybe the time zones didn't quite line up for testing times, and people had like other testing groups. Obviously, Hamish and I are part of a testing group in the UK. And I think you hit the nail on the head, Rohan. It's nice to get ideas from different metas because it opens up lines of play that maybe you weren't quite expecting.
Yep, I absolutely agree with that. So yeah, we just rolled with that, and I feel like it worked out quite nicely.
And you guys are supposed to, tell us what you're drinking and
Oh, yeah.
crack open the beersies.
Have you guys got a beer?
The bevy,
Yeah.
as it
Oh
is,
yeah.
bevy?
Fucking hell, this is.
All right, let's do a guest introduction beers because I don't have a beer.
Alright.
It's 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I've got.
Ah.
No, we've got to do the whole thing. I'll start. All right, I will start with Tom. Tom Penny. What are you drinking?
Mate, the old $5 holler.
I've no idea what that is.
It's
What
just
is-
the
what's it?
Heineken, a can of Heineken, but as they say in Wellington,
Yeah, we
Quite
picked it
a
up. We
hot
got
one.
it. We got it.
Yeah. I got that. Yeah,
terrible,
$5 holler.
terrible can.
$5 holler.
You get what you pay for, But
That's quite a lot. I mean, I don't know how much the New
That's
Zealand.
cheap in New Zealand. That's cheap in New Zealand, man.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
That's like
Not
£2.
a
I think
shop.
this is
Like-
actually.
At a restaurant,
Yeah.
$5
Ah.
is cheap for a beer.
Yeah, this
Oh,
probably
okay.
wasn't actually $5. It would have been less than that. But
It was
if you went to
$3.
the old burger liquor, is that what it's called, Rohan?
Yeah, we went out Friday and we went to a restaurant and there was the drinks menu and there's all sorts of different drinks. You get beers, wines, and then at the top it was the $5 holler. And obviously Tom went with that, and it was some random can of beer you've never
was
heard
good.
of before.
Gisborne Gold, mate. Gisborne Gold.
Wow.
A classic.
That sounds good.
Sounds horrible.
Oh,
It looked horrible.
Clark, are you on the sauce
Mate,
over
it
in Oz? Are
was
you
cold,
you got beer open?
I'm currently waiting for my partner to get back home.
well, she got a beer with her.
No, she's we're about to have celebration drinks. She just got accepted into uni, so
Oh, congratulations.
Congratulations.
yeah, pretty pumped for her. But I'm on the waters until she gets here, and then we'll slam some things.
Oh, nice.
We'll open
on
up
your
the top shelf, I reckon.
Oh,
So if if Clark disappears halfway through this, you know he's just gone to be with the
If
lady.
you hear a knock and then I go silent, that's where I've gone.
yeah.
And Rohan, what are you drinking?
I've got a beer, an IPA.
Nice.
Pretty good.
Ooh. What is it?
Yeah,
What is
it's
it?
a Monteith's Phoenix IPA.
Phoenix IPA.
Ooh.
Like the sound of
Our
it.
pale ale's big over there as well. They just
Yeah,
like
they're
blew up
huge,
in
yeah.
the last couple of years. Yeah, they're
New Ze-
everywhere now.
I tell you what, New Zealand is really good for growing craft beer style hops. Similar to the UK, you've got really good hop growing conditions. If you didn't know, no,
I
you go.
didn't, but it makes
Every day.
sense because they are everywhere. A lot of them brew them themselves. So yeah.
There you go.
One day, maybe Worlds will come and say hello and have a beer.
Oh,
Yeah.
we can now because we've all got a PTI.
Yeah.
We do all have a PTI.
Must be nice.
I'm on the black coffee because, despite being English, I'm not drinking at 9 a.m.
Yeah, and I've got a glass of water because it's 9 o'clock. It's 9 in the morning.
Bottle of water.
Bottle of water,
Excuses.
mate. Excuses. Oh, okay. Let me just go and bust out a whiskey, eh?
At least we get the full push to point experience. I don't think I had a
Oh,
beer
no.
introduction last time. No, it was just a small little side segment.
Just a snippet.
No,
Yeah,
I said to you, grab a beer, and you went, nah, man.
I
do, you,
don't remember that, mate.
do you not? Oh, well. Do apologise. What was the first thing that... Thank you, Tom, for that, by the way.
Yeah, I appreciate
Completely
that.
forgot
You know.
that we that you guys all went out to get a beer for the beer segment, and then we just kicked off and didn't even bring in the beer. Oh,
Steamrolled through it.
I know.
I've been staring at it for the last 20 minutes during sound check. Yeah.
Now you know how Push the Point really works. We all sit there staring at our beer for however long, and then someone's like, "Please, can we just record? It's warm now."
I'm gonna put this question out to the group. When a new set comes out, like how do you go about, or how did we go about in the testing group? Starting testing. Like, what did people want to test? What did people in the Tails meta think they wanted to test, and where did we go?
Go on then. I'm gonna throw that one on to you, Matt Clarky.
All right. I'm just trying to remember back to what our original kind of thoughts were, because I know at that point when Tails got released, Dawnblade was still Dustblade was still a thing.
Yeah.
And obviously we all knew that certain classes would be kind of cracked at the time. Oldheim being that super defensive build, but then getting completely destroyed by Duskblade. Jane obviously being strong for that reason. Prism was still a threat. I think it just won that the calling in the US. And I think there was a couple of decks that we were aware of that just weren't going to be any good in the meta. And I think at that point as well, we knew the potential of what Briar could be. Just weren't sure. We knew that it would take a little bit of finicky kind of testing to figure out the absolute kind of optimal way of playing it. And so I think once we knew that Duskblade and Seeds got banned, it made testing a little bit more straightforward.
It took Chain
and
out
I
of the
know
picture,
a lot
didn't
of
it?
yeah. I mean, like we knew Chain was still strong, but it allowed us to open up a lot more avenues to a lot of different other testings. And I think the main thing was that we started off with Lexi Lightning, and that was Tom and I. We started on that.
Bit of 3 of a kind action.
Yeah,
The
and you
card
could just
the
see
card
the
got a
deck
lot
was
better than it
absolutely insane. But the problem was that any deck that we played into Briar was the embodiment problem. And I knew that I played a few games into Rohan and Jason Lai, and
Rest in peace.
on the Briar list, we just found that as soon as they got to 2 embodiments, like you just can't push damage. And it was just one of those things that really kind of changed the way you had to test, was because Briar became more and more of a factor in the meta. And so I think the main decks that we ended up testing were a couple of the guys were on Oldheim and Bravo. A few of us were on Briar. Ham, you said that you obviously went on to Viserai early. You one of the OGs on that. And we weren't really on Chain early because I think we were just gravitating towards some of the other classes that kind of opened up as a result of its being nerfed a little bit. And we weren't really on Lexi Ice. I know Rohan tested a little bit, but it was just kind of a nothing deck at the time.
Yeah, I was playing it wrong. I built it wrong, and it just didn't do anything. Or to be honest, I was versing Guardians and losing.
Wow.
Yeah, hard. And I think just throughout that whole early testing period, it really just kind of honed into the fact that Briar was nuts. Viserai had a lot of potential, but had some difficult matchups, and were going to be really, really strong. So those were the main things, I think, from the early testing.
It seems like a long time ago now, doesn't it? I think, like, obviously Tails released in September.
So long ago.
And
was it that long ago?
we were due to have, we had our nationals at the end of October. You guys were due to have it the week before us, and then obviously lockdown hit New Zealand, and Australia remained in lockdown for what seems like forever. Rohan, how did that affect your mindset around testing, and what went on when you found out your nationals were delayed?
That's a good question. The first thought was like, a lot of the stuff we're testing now is not going to be relevant for whenever Nats comes up. You know, you build it for a certain meta. I feel like the meta just when Tails released was Prism, Guardian, and stuff, right? And so you grind, you play games and games and games, and then they tell you Nats is indefinitely postponed. We don't know when it's going to happen. It's going to be after all the other Nats. So at that point, you kind of just, I think it was probably best to just take a step back a bit. Like I remember I played a bunch of games with Hamish because you guys still had Nats coming up.
Yeah.
So we played around with Viserai a bit. We were tuning it, figuring out a couple of matchups and stuff. And basically, when your guys' Nats ended, I didn't play for a while. I just thought I'd sort of sit back, watch the other Nats, see what decks come through, and just take a bit of a break from like the full-on testing, because you just don't know what a meta's going to look like in 2 months. Like think about the meta in early October to our Nats, which was the last big event. It was so different. It almost went full circle. It went full circle, right? It went like Briar Prisms. Prisms Guardians, and then there were all this middling bit with Briars and Lexis coming out. And then in the end, it's kind of somehow gone back to like Prisms and Guardians again with a bit of Viserai in there.
Yeah,
because I think the UK nationals
that's
were
expected as well.
The UK
Yeah.
Nationals were in a bit of a unique position. I think we all did like quite a bit of testing for about a month beforehand. We were really grinding to get the matchups we wanted down, and then the week before
Oh god,
was the calling in the US where someone top forward with basically what became the Cheerios Briar list, and then
and then panic.
I remember
Didn't
Hamish
shoot.
and I playing some games with our decks against you guys playing the Cheerios Briar deck, and we came away. Hamish and I just sat down and chatted with each other. We were just like, "Oh my god!" Like we've just run into a brick wall, and if we can't,
I remember that session.
If we can't
was
beat
not
this, what are we going to do? I'd spent ages working on this Earthbride deck that was inspired by Rohan and Jason's ideas early on, and then
You,
Hamish.
Jason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Hamish had been on Viz since the beginning, and then we just both came away completely downtrodden.
I remember doing that, and you guys goes, "Oh, you in trouble, eh?" And I was like, "No,
Don't do that the week before that.
no." And then it was just literally me. I think I was having hearts to heart with all of you at the end, going, "Oh, I don't know if I could do it." And then he's like, "Oh, you can. You just gotta think. You just gotta think you can. You know, you just gotta apply yourself." I'm like, "Oh no, this is awful."
Yeah, that's a tough spot. Eh? Like, I feel bad for Mark because I was continuously pushing Mark to play Dash because before Cheerios,
Yeah, I
the meta
remember
was
that.
like Briar and Prism and stuff, and I'm like, Mark, Dash is so good in this meta, and then a week before that, it's like, shit, sorry, Mark.
Sorry, bro.
But without that session, I never would have changed my sideboards for my Briar deck against Cheerios, and I actually got better than 50-50 on that matchup in the end. And I think Hamish did the same with Viserai.
Yeah, I played up against Sharif, who also got top 4, and he was playing the Cheerios Bro, but luckily he only had like 5 games on it, and that was. And when we played, it was just like, okay. I've luckily been getting smashed in the face by Rohan for a whole week. That it got to the point where I was just like, oh, okay, yours is not as awful, so I can somehow wingle around this.
And Tom, you started on Lexi Lightning and then disappeared off the face of the earth for a while. What did you come back on?
He went for a Siggy.
Yeah, he went quick Siggy. What did you come back on? Why?
So I went off when Nationals got postponed. I basically just stopped playing for a while because there was no like foreseeable tournament really. But like Matt said, I was struggling with the earth embodiments anyway, so I wasn't likely going to end up on Lexi unless it was like an Ice Lexi. But I feel like playing Ice Lexi into the New Zealand Nats was pretty rough. Like there were a number of people we expected to be playing Guardian anyway, and we hadn't really figured that matchup out if that was even possible. So
it was possible to a degree, but the amount of setup that was required, it was ridiculous. Like you needed like double Ice Amulet plus a 3 of a kind or a 3-arrow turn to push like 12 damage or something like that to kill them on the end turn. But yeah, it was not a good thing.
I think the thing that sold or dished Lexi off for me was the calling in the US when the guy had a kill turn basically and a 3 of a kind and he drew 0 arrows and you're just like complete whiff.
That was rough.
Yeah, it sounds to all of us. Like it's one of the things that put me off it probably. I mean the Lightning version definitely had better game into Guardians because you can go wide, you can go around them a little bit better. You have more 0 cost arrows, for example.
But it felt like Guardians did control better and Briar did aggro better than Lexi could do either.
Yeah,
pretty much.
I mean, yeah.
So what did you end up playing, Tom? Like where did you come back to?
I was playing Briar, so I mean I was tossing up between I guess Viserai, Briar. I was still kind of determined.
You were never going to play Viserai. Come on, let's be real. You were never going to play.
That was the only other thing that was like in my mind. I guess towards the end of testing, like close to nationals, there was like, a 1% chance, 2% chance that I switch to chain last minute, but I was a little worried about
chain
Guardians. It was pretty strong, but I mean it still has the same problems as it did before, where you just break your turn 4, turn 5 shackle,
Yeah,
most of the
yeah.
games, so I didn't really want to play that.
Mm.
So I played what was closer to because obviously I was playing Lightning Lexi early, but I was also playing a Briar deck with more creepers, Tomb of the Arknight, VLA Flash, cards like this, so a little bit more mid-rangey, but sort of combo orientated, destroying lots of cards.
Hmm.
The deck was kind of outclassed by other Briar builds, so I mean I played, I was playing Briar before. Nats was postponed, and I picked that deck up again. I mean, it was that or Lexi probably for me.
Yeah, fair enough, man.
This might
but
might
Briar,
sound like
yeah.
a strange question, but obviously there are quite a few people out there that know you as the Warrior King, Tom. Right? Did Dory
Can't shake it.
did Dory or Bolton ever cross your mind for Nats?
No, definitely not. I feel like with Bolton,
Maybe.
nah. I mean, Bolton has can get its spots, but I mean the Saber Bolton deck, which is the version that I played more, it just gets hard countered by 2 to 3 Earth embodiments. Like it's just a joke.
Pretty sure Bolter Saban won one of the Nats somewhere. Maybe.
Wait, I thought
Yeah,
it was
like a
I think it got-
20 man
I think it
Nats.
got-
I'd like to
I thought-
see
I
how
thought it was runner-up.
What was it?
I thought it was a
there was
runner-up.
definitely, I think there was definitely a winner with Sabers, and I think it beat
Okay.
Briar. But I think there's 1 second and 1 first for Bolton.
Oh, okay. All right.
But
Well,
I
yeah.
And
never
Dory
liked-
won one as well.
What?
Gee.
I'm pretty sure Dory won one.
No,
They're all
Dory?
I think
They were
Dory
like-
won the
yeah.
Portuguese one, right?
Was it?
Yeah.
was
Yeah,
it
they're all
right.
like 20 or
Dory?
30 man events though, so
Well,
yeah.
well, still didn't see that coming. But yeah.
But no, I didn't think any of the warrior decks were powerful enough to play.
Nah,
Um,
that's fair.
Certainly not Dorinthia. I mean, love Dory, but I feel like she's quite underpowered in that meta.
Mm.
And also has some very, very hard matchups. I mean, as it turned out, Oldham and Prism both a nightmare for Dorinthia, so
Yeah.
definitely wouldn't have been the right call for New Zealand at least.
Was there any Dories at at any of your
Yeah.
nets?
Yeah, there were at least 2 Dorinthia, 2 or 3,
Yeah.
I think.
There were like 2 or
Oh.
3 Dories.
I didn't see any.
No, right.
It's because you're top of the Swiss, mate.
Yeah, yeah. Can't see what's down there.
I mean, the reason I asked that is because obviously Aaron, a big Guardian player in our group, toyed with other decks and then went back to Bravo for the main event. Like, did any of you, Rohan, you saw a Kano win a national championships in CC in Italy. Like, did any of you think this could be an off-meta choice, but it could do well? Like, were there any ideas out there that weren't Briar or Oldham or Chain or
Viscerai.
Rohan was like legitimately considering Kano, which I thought was
Yeah.
funny.
I was for a little while actually. But
then he remembered it wasn't Blitz, so
yeah. And I was worried that there'd be less Briar than people expect, which was right to a certain degree. I think we had like 30% Briar in the field, right? And then if you
Yeah.
look at the top tables, it was like Prism and Guardian. So I'm glad I wasn't on Kano. Would have just got destroyed. But yeah, I think for rogue decks, not really. I feel by the end of the testing process, you kind of know. It's like
yeah.
this deck won't. These are the decks that can consistently win across like 6 to 9 rounds of CC without just randomly losing. Like ideally, you avoid a deck with an auto loss. You want a deck that's pretty decent into everything. And yes, I honestly, the only deck I kind of considered was Chain. I was like,
Okay.
if I can figure out how to pitch stack and beat Oldham, I think Chain's one of the best decks in the meta because I felt it was favored into the other 2 Rune Blades. I don't know if that's correct or not, but that's how I saw it. So I was like, if you can beat an Oldham, you should be pretty good in the majority of your matchups.
I will say in the Oznats we had a ninja finish 3rd. I'm pretty sure.
We had a Katsu come in 9th. Jack Whittaker. Jack Whitt.
Wonder
Our-
if
Ours was a little bit thrown though because I'm pretty sure he went like 3-3 in CC and then was like 6-0 draft. So
yeah, that's.
Yeah.
I think that's one of those things that I've noticed as well. That it's the I think there's certain heroes that pull through into the top 8, and people go, oh, like, you know, we had 2 Katsu, and it's not really a knock on, like, it's not a knock on the player, but I don't think that sometimes that the actual hero that they picked for the CC was the driving force that got him into the top 8. It might sound a bit harsh, but, you know, draft was the thing, right? You know, if you just did really well with draft.
Like what you versed, right? Like Nick Holding, the winner of our Nets, has pretty much come out and said, I don't think Prism was a good choice for Nets. But I got lucky with my matchups.
He didn't play a single Briar, right? He played Guardians and everyone else.
Yeah, he played the decks that were beating Briars, which he was favored into, like Vis and Guardians.
And he managed to stay out of the front for the whole day.
Yep, he got to the top tables, and then I think Tom was probably the only Briar midway through the tournament that was around there, and then it was just Guardians. It was just Guardians, and like maybe a Vis. So the Prisms were laughing. I think there were 3 Prisms near the top.
Yeah.
I think we had 6 Prisms and 5 top 24'd and 2 top 8'd.
Yeah, the conversion rate was crazy.
Yeah, it was nuts.
It's interesting when you think about how Nats works. You know, there's so much emphasis on what hero won and what heroes have got into the top 8, and people forget about the draft and the matchups. And sometimes you can just high roll it, right, and just do really well.
Do you think they'll do draft in a nationals again?
I think
so. I think so. I think they like the multi-format.
I agree.
It's with the whole company message of like playing in the Flesh and Blood
Yeah.
and the limited format. I think I actually kind of enjoy it. Like 12 rounds of CC is a huge slog.
Yeah.
But actually, if you're trying to crown like a national champion, it can't be just like I think you need to have both components in that skill set, both the deck building and then the CC component as well.
I think
I
it's
agree
a good
on that
leveler.
front. I agree on that front. I think they
I
could.
mean, if you just want to do
somehow
CC, you can do just callings and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I suppose. And the ProQuest season's coming up with just full on, constructed. There is that. I suppose I did enjoy it. It was a bit like weird doing it all at first, and I think it kind of slows down the pace of the game. It's not the most exciting thing for me to watch on stream, I will admit, but when you're in the event and you're doing it, I think it is quite a lot of fun.
Again, random question: do you think Blitz will ever feature in a national championship?
Oh no, I hope that doesn't ever happen.
I hope
no
not.
chance.
No.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
No, Blitz
I think Blitz is established as very much a introductory kind of format. So
because they had a calling with Blitz, didn't they? Back in the day.
Yep, they did.
And that was
That was
basically
Blitz
70%
Ira.
basically.
Yeah.
It is possible we see like 3 formats at Worlds though, like to crown a world champion. The mastery of the game across multiple formats. Like there's a chance we see Blitz at Worlds.
Yeah, the winner of
you heard it here first, guys.
Yeah, the winner of what's it? Ultimate Pit Fight. Oh man. imagine
Commoner format.
Let's see how you go at Goblin
Goblin
Chaff.
Chaff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chaff Goblin.
Chaff Worlds.
That's
Chaff
a
Goblin.
format. That's good
only
shit.
format.
The only true format.
So I did have one thing that was just sort of playing on my mind, because Hamish and I were obviously very used to webcam tournaments and games because the UK was in lockdown much earlier than you guys in Australia and New Zealand. How do you think that affected testing in general pre-Nats for you guys? Because a lot of you weren't really used to webcamming games, and TTS was a thing, but how did you get events in running up to nationals with lockdown ongoing?
Draft was the main problem.
Yeah, draft was a problem. Tom's right. It was like CC. I think we were all by that point used to playing on TTS. I don't have an issue missing like armories or something, but with draft, a lot of us were massively unprepared because it's really hard to get it going, and even online, it's not the same, is it?
It's not the same as being in person, no. But we did. I mean, we were very lucky. We had a bit of a platform to draft on.
Yeah, we were lucky. We had Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
Making that.
Shout out, Mark.
Shout out, Mark, man. That was I like that. That was pretty much my only testing for draft was on that. I think I had like 1 or 2 with the pre-releases, and then the rest of it was just on that. And I just needed to see what a structure looks like, and then the rest of it is just sod it. Let's just wing it on the day, right? Let's just, I just need to know what are the good cards. What am I pick? What is the good cards that make this hero like tick? And that was it.
It was an interesting format, though. I think in terms of when you usually play draft in like a 4-hero format, usually you can stay a little bit more open, read the field, know where your seat is, type of thing, and that's kind of what you practice. Whereas I think when it came, like, I think total I probably played about 10 drafts before Nats, which coincidentally it was quite a few in comparison to a lot of people. But I think it came down to like card evaluation and really making your decision really early, and then just kind of committing to that. I think that was probably it was more of just like your options really got narrowed down quite quickly if you didn't make a pick early.
Yeah.
A lot of the people that I saw in drafts, like in Nats and also outside of Nats, the people that stayed open got screwed over because their decks were just weak. So
which is the opposite to what we've just seen last weekend with the Farewell, Welcome to Wraith events, when actually you can stay very open with generics in Welcome to Wraith for a long time. Even like into pack 2, you can be quite open.
So
like generics for Toa were the elements, and you could just lose out on half your elements if you're forced into a certain hero. So it was a very different style of draft format, I think.
Must be nice, Hamish, if you get a Terror Sunder pick 1 and then a Pulse of Eyes and Lost pick 2, right?
No. That's not what happened. I was lucky to crack a Terror Sunder pack 2 on both of my things. I went, oh, cool, Terror Sunder, sweet, I've got that. And then again on day 2, I got handed a Pulse of Eyes and Lost on day 2.
Jesus.
Yeah, I went, oh, okay, I'll pick a red. The best one was Red Bull Lightning. That's the best one. And then I got, Pulse of Isenloff, sweet. Okay, I'm playing Oldham. That was it. That was literally all I did. And then I just went from there. And
I'm sure that's a first pick card, right? Pulse. Is this pack 1?
No, this is pack 1. So we all cracked the packs open, and then I picked a Bull Lightning, and then Sharif was sitting next to me. Just handed me his packs, and I just saw Pulse of Isenloff and went and looked, and you can't communicate, but I just did a quick look at him and went, all right, you don't want it.
What did he take? Do you know?
I said to him, what did you take? And he said, I don't even know. I was like, you didn't take this. And he was like, he said, I suck at draft. And I was like, well, I guess that works for me. But
it's funny because I don't even consider Isenloff like a must pick card type of thing.
You're probably right, but I did maybe I'm wrong, but I had, when I saw that, I just went, early, just went, you know what, sod it. This is such a good card if I can get this to work. So I'll just roll the dice and just went, I'll go
you're choosing Earth Blues anyway, so I mean it's a good choice.
Yeah. And then I think it happened. It happened again on day 1. I picked something, and then someone handed me Oakenold, and I went, "Oh, okay, I'll roll. I'll go Oldham. I'll pick that. If it works, this is gonna be great."
And did it work, Hamish?
Yeah, I managed to 5-turn dominate you to the ground. The game lasted 3 minutes.
Dominate. Boom.
Yeah. It was, and then I said, "Do you want to go for a fave?" You went, "No." Oh God!
And then I just walked off in the other direction. Yeah.
I thought, oh Christ, if I just cucked him out of the Nats. But it was still a long day to go, so you were fine in the end, eh?
It was fortunate, yeah. Did all right in CC. It was fine.
I needed to pick me up because I lost to Matt Foltz just on that round. And I was like, oh my God, I just lost to this guy. And then I just saw you, and I was like, I need to kill this guy. I need cheering up.
There was literally nothing I could do. I just tried to push damage, 3-card hand every turn because he dominated me, and then
start turn dominate, second turn dominate, third turn I'm so sorry Simon, dominate, fourth turn tear asunder.
Yeah, I guess that's the downside to draft, right?
Yeah,
you can prepare all you want for CC, and then you get dominated 3-4 turns in a row and lose.
Yeah. What's your guys like final thoughts on Tales of Aria draft? Was it like you guys have been through different drafts with Monarch and even I don't know if any of you jumped on Welcome to Wraith when it started. I assume you all was on Welcome to Wraith. I know you were, Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah, what about you, Matt?
I started at the end of Welcome to Wraith, so my
so
first
you've been
drafting
on Arcane.
experience was Arcane, which was a horrible format.
Oh right, I was gonna say it's like was there
Draft was better than the sealed, at least for Arcane.
Yeah.
The sealed was horrible.
Oh yeah, true.
I quite like
at
Arcane
least
Rising though.
I really liked Monarch. It was quite Prism centric, but it was still quite good considering Levi was like had options into it. As for Tails, I think once you realize that, at least from my point of view, if you try and draft into Lexi and you get someone else on the table that's also on Lexi, your deck threats is just quite limited.
Right.
Whereas if you're forced into Lexi and you're the only one on the table, then you're probably going to 3-0 potentially. Whereas I think it was a lot easier to draft into Earth first and then kind of tail off into more of a Lightning build. So you've got Earth and Lightning for Briar, or just cop all these kind of the bad ice cards, because there are a lot of bad ice cards available. You know, Oldheim can still use them quite effectively. And you know, all the blue Guardian stuff just gets left over at the end of at the end of packs. So you're always going to have all these 3-block blues that you can just pitch for hammer and and block for 3, and it just there's a couple key cards like I think Turn Timber. There's a Nuts card.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Blue Glacial Footsteps.
Rejuvenate, right?
Rejuvenate.
Rejuvenate red.
Yeah, decent on and off turn there. Gain that 3 life. It's 3 damage that they have to get more on. I think Guardian easily had the best equipment as well available to it, like in terms of Plume, Coat of Frost, Crackerjacks, and Runaways. You had just so many options.
Don't forget the buckler.
He even had the shield. Yeah, he even had the shield.
And the buckler, yeah. Just one extra life.
I wins that, mate. That saves you a game. So what, Rohan, what would you say that your favourite drafting set was? Since I think you've been through the run in the middle as well. I'll just throw this out to everyone. What was their favourite set to draft from memory?
Yeah, I played most of them. Yeah, I think Tom's is Welcome to Wraith, right?
Yeah,
mine's Monarch.
Drafting Rhino's great, bro. So undervalued.
I've only drafted Welcome to Wraith a couple times. After Nats, one of the guys in the house that we were staying with won a Welcome to Wraith box, and so we just cracked it just for fun, and we were just trolling and just having a good time. And I was pretending like I was hate drafting someone really hard on Warrior. I was just picking up all these generics, and then I realized nobody was playing Brute, so I got Brute. I think all 3 games that I played, I ended up doing my first turn on the draw was Red Flock, revealing a blue Wounding Blow into a Snapdragons, into a Red Smash Instinct, into a Club Swing, 16 damage. And I did that the majority of the games, and I had a Red Sloggism with a regurgitating slog, which was my 12 damage dominate end game, and I was like, this format's fun. It's good fun.
God. Well, what? So you said your favorite was Monarch, Rohan?
Yeah, my favorite was Monarch. I loved Monarch.
Oh, it was just as the set. You think that was your favorite?
Yeah. Well, as a drafting thing, you've got decent generics, you've got Light and Shadow to stay half or semi-open, and then you got 4 classes, so it's a nice split. And then there are these signal cards that really tell you if your class is open or not. 4th or 5th pick, if you see a Take Flight, if you see a Seeds, if you see a Riftbind, if you see a Premium Herald, you just go into a Hooves of the Shadow Beast for Leviathan equipment. There are a lot of cards where you're this is open and I can go directly into this, right? Whereas with Tails, everyone just takes the Earth or Lightning or Ice cards, and then pick pack 6. You look at this pack and it's just every single class card that was in the pack, and you just have no clue. like what's open, what's not.
I do like Monarch. I really liked drafting Welcome Trades this weekend. I think closely followed by Monarch, but I think the UK experience of Monarch Limited was marred heavily by Sealed, which is much less fun of a format.
Yeah, Sealed sucks, I'm afraid, in my opinion. I don't like it.
Sealed is hard to get right, I feel. I didn't play any for Tails, but for Monarch and Arcane it was pretty rough. I was quite skewed to one or two heroes, really.
Yeah.
I reckon Everfest is going to be a great drafting set. Hey,
Team Sealed.
30 potions. 30 potions.
That'd be nice.
Team Sealed, Monarch, Tails, and Everfest for Team Sealed. What do you reckon?
Ooh,
I like
Gotta
it.
do it.
I like it.
Everfest
I
Team
like
Sealed.
it. Yeah, Everfest Team Sealed will be
Monarch,
fun.
Tails, Everfest. Ooh.
So
right, what we probably need to wrap up. We've been rambling on a bit. Anything you did differently for the next meta and testing for the ProQuest season, Rohan?
Good question. Let me just think.
yeah, go
next,
bad.
Next meta and ProQuest season.
Unless anyone else has got any thoughts about Everfest, you know.
I guess the main thing was I feel like I disregarded a few decks too quickly. Like I disregarded Chain after the Duskblade and Seeds ban, right? I probably shouldn't have. Probably should have at least gone back there and tried it a little bit, or like and I guess the other thing is with the meta call, like I feel we got it wrong a little bit. We just didn't expect that much Prism, and so just be aware of that. People are actually thinking of like countering the decks that counter the meta, which I thought was going too deep. I was like, look, I'm just gonna play a deck that beats the meta deck. I'm not gonna.
But saying to you, what if you encounter Prism?
Fab Inception.
Yeah.
I remember saying to you, what happens if you go up against Prism? You're like, nah, I won't. It'll be fine.
I versed 3 Prisms, man. It was painful.
Clark, what about you?
I think I'm almost like the opposite of Rohan, where I think when I did this testing, like I work in a hospital system, so my testing schedule was always kind of screwed up anyway.
I feel that.
Yeah, so you're in the hospital system as well, but just being able to kind of test in a big spurt for like a deck that we were working on, and then kind of having to disappear for like a week or two, and then coming back to it, and then I'm just like, oh, things are different. So I think when I got to like the last 2-3 weeks of before Nationals, I was still open in terms of what I was looking to play. I knew for a fact that Viserai probably would be the best deck, in my opinion. Knowing that you'd have to commit so much time to actually learning it properly, but I didn't know whether or not I had. And then I was very close to bringing Lexi Ice, which thankfully I completely bungled out of an arm with it. And I was just like, okay, I definitely can't play this. I knew that there would be Prisms in ours because we've got a couple of just Prism stands at the moment who, I didn't think would switch off it.
Yeah.
I thought Chain was ridiculously strong. And I felt actually super confident in being able to do like the super stacking for like Oldheim and stuff like that. But at the same time, the less blood debt, the Chain gets, it does become a little bit more of a risky matchup into Briar. In terms of Briar can pop off a little bit easier in my opinion. I felt stronger as Briar into Chain than Chain into Briar.
Right.
Yeah, so I think moving forward, like at least into the next meta for like ProQuest and stuff like that, I think I'll probably be a bit more focused and trust the team aspect in terms of,
You made me laugh because every day I felt like it was, I'm on this, baby, and I was like, okay, and then next day, mate, it is Chain. I'm definitely on the Chain.
The problem is that I was like, I feel really strong on Ranger, and then I'm like, yes, this is the deck for me. And then I played 10 games into Viserai, and I'm like, this is crap. I don't want to play this. And then I go like 10-0 versus Tom's Briar deck, and I'm like, I'm back, baby. I'm feeling strong again. Confidence is back. I just got to get a good 3 of a kind turn. It's all fine. And then, yeah, I think eventually I came down. Yeah, I knew half the format was draft. So I just had to say to myself, I felt really strong and confident in my draft style. I just needed a deck that could get me 3-3 or 4-2,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Briar got me 5-1. So I was pretty chuffed with the eventual choice, obviously. So
Nice. And
What
Penny?
about you, Tom?
Yeah, it was definitely a good choice of deck. I think I don't want to underestimate some of the decks, and in the next meta, like I maybe did this one, like we definitely underestimated a few decks. In testing, but also like even as options to play. I think there's some really cool new stuff for some heroes that haven't been seeing much play. So
a lot of cool
you know,
stuff.
I think there's some spice that people haven't quite worked their head around yet in Everfest.
Yeah, I think Everfest has just opened up a lot more doors than people give credit to. That rather than just this whole Guardian Prism and even Viserai sort of like immediate love that this set is just obviously brought. I think there's something hidden within that no one's going to see coming.
yeah, it looks sweet. Looking forward to a a few days away now.
I can't believe it
Yeah,
can't come soon enough now.
That's great. That
Yeah,
set's
man.
great. I see
Yeah.
a few comments online where people are like, "Oh, this is underwhelming. It's not going to change much."
What?
But
It's so
all the cards are so good.
Yeah.
Like all the cards, every class almost is getting a massive upgrade in
apart from
some way.
Dash. Apart from
Except
Dash,
for
in my
Dash.
opinion.
No.
Dash.
Dash got some good stuff. Like
Really?
T-Bone probably will get plenty of implementation, I think. But I think Brute got screwed over a little bit. But
Nah, T-Bone was basically the actual epitome of what Dash got. They got T-boned in this set. Absolute garbage. I
Why
think
not
Rhino did
get,
alright.
You got that 2 cost 8 damage. It's kind of like an anti on hit trigger. Like it's like you got to block this or I'm getting.
Oh, that's true.
Who
Yeah,
cost eight?
or the quicken, the brute one.
Yeah. If they
Swing
block
big.
Yeah, I like that.
Like,
Even the
kinda
one
like
that just
on
roll a dice, just get that much power. I think that's sweet.
KO
See
is
that
meta
card,
now.
KO
cash
meta.
out.
Cash out and cash in. Yeah.
Cash
Alright,
out.
alright,
Oh my
okay.
god.
You know how you can sack weapons to cash out, right? To get
Yeah.
silvers.
Yeah.
You can sack shields, right? Prismatic
Yes,
shields.
you can sack shields. You can sack your shields because they're weapons on your turn.
Wait a minute.
Someone make that deck, please.
Oh my god. Wait.
But it also
You've
implies
been-
you have to run cash in as well. So
To run
How many
cash
silver
in,
do you
cash
want?
out.
Yeah.
It's a yellow. It's a yellow. So
It's a yellow.
It was built
you
for
know-
Prism, is what we're saying.
Oh
Yeah.
god.
All right,
That's-
gents.
Yeah, go on.
Gents, I want to say thank you for coming and joining us for what's been a lovely sort of round table, and thank you for giving us your thoughts on testing so far. For those people out there that sort of don't know how to get started, hopefully this has been useful, and hopefully, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to the ProQuest season coming up, and I wish we could all play sooner than Worlds.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
thanks so much for having us on, you guys.
thank you.
I thank you for jumping
cheers, boys.
on. All right. See you later.
Bye.